Hello again. I will at once confess that I have little faith in the present government as far as health is concerned. One news item alone recently should be enough to explain this lack of confidence. Here is Agostino Sousa of the United Kingdom Health Security Agency explaining helpfully how we can avoid falling ill during the present cold snap. Keep your bedroom windows closed at night. And no, I have not made that up. I give a link in the description to this video to the BBC report on Dr. Sousa's sensible advice. I'm sure this has prevented countless deaths from pneumonia as people rushed off to close their bedroom windows, the idea not having occurred to them when temperatures over much of the country fell below freezing point a few days ago. Thank goodness the government is on the ball. Governments in this country are increasingly prone to taking actions which they see as short-term solutions to an immediate problem, but which are bound to have catastrophic consequences a year or two down the line. The classic example of this is, of course, the lockdowns in 2020 and 2021. Many people warned what would happen, but of course they were ignored. Among the results that we are now seeing are an increasing number of children dying with strep A infections and a tenfold increase in the number of cases of scarlet fever. Children who were kept isolated from other children simply didn't build up their natural immunity, which is why they are now falling ill and dying from infections which children would have fought off easily 2 or 3 years ago. As I say, many people warned of this outcome, but the short-term solution looked so appealing. Now the government have come up with a new scheme to combat scarlet fever and prevent any more children dying of strep A. 16 children have now died of this infection. The government knows that with the terrible state of the NHS and the nurses' strike coming soon and so on, that there's going to be huge pressure, unprecedented pressure on hospitals, doctors and nurses. Hey, why not let the local chemist hand out antibiotics without a doctor's prescription? That will ease pressure on GPs, won't it? And while we're at it, why not give antibiotics to every child at schools where there is a single case of scarlet fever? Just to be on the safe side. I'll give one link in the description of this video on this subject. Viewers will be able to find many more if they look around a bit. This is classic short-termism. The government is currently on a popularity hunt and they know that nothing looks worse than having a lot of kids dying all over the place. You have to avoid that at all costs if you want to become a popular government. So why not hand out antibiotics like sweeties to anybody who might want them and give them to all children if need be? The reason is, of course, that this is a perfect recipe for creating drug-resistant bacteria, sometimes known as superbugs. You may well be able to destroy the scarlet fever epidemic and stop kids dying of strep A this winter, but because the widespread use of antibiotics, even for those who are not actually ill, which is what is going to happen in schools, it means that natural selection will give rise to bacteria which are not killed by antibiotics, any antibiotics. This has been a bit of a problem for years, but this government is about to accelerate the situation and cause an explosion of such strains. In other words, just like the lockdowns, this seems a great sticking plaster now, but it's laying up an awful lot of trouble for the future. In a few years' time, perhaps even before the next election in 2 years, we are going to see an absolutely exponential rise in cases of superbugs.